Avatar: The Way of Water stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, and along with Jermaine Clement, Cliff Curtis, and Kate Winslet. Wait, were they? All I saw was two thin blue aliens with long hair, big eyes, and stripes. I didn't recall them anywhere. Anyway, it also stars Edie Falco, Carmela Soprano herself, and is directed by James Cameron. Set a decade after the first Avatar, wherein Jake Sully has now raised an entire family with Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldana, and along with all their children, there's a feral human that grew up on Pandora due to having been born there named Spider. Spider happens to be the son of Colonel Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, who is intent on colonizing Pandora. And so after kidnapping Spider and some of Jake's children, Jake Sully is now aware that Quaritch is keyed in on their whereabouts, so he leads their entire tribe to the Metkayina tribe, which is a tribe that resides on the reef, an oceanic reef of Pandora. Whew. I was a big fan of the first 3D experience of Avatar in 2009. I thought it actually handled like a tight story that I cared about, along with introducing groundbreaking visual effects. And I'd never seen like a sci-fi action film with the environmentalist sort of underpinnings that it had. So for me at the time, it was actually a wonderfully new cinematic experience that had never been done before. And I saw it twice in cinemas because I loved it so much. Around half hour into this film, I had no idea who was who because everyone just looks the same. That kind of lame alien design I described before. I'm sorry, it's lame. It's just, they're not imposing, they're not threatening or cool looking or cute. They're just tall, thin blue people. And it's like, There's so many Na'vi characters. Jake Sully has had what seems like about 10 kids since the first one. And every character is just the guy, the girl, the other guy, the pretty girl, the buff guy, Colonel Quaritch, who was probably the most interesting character out of all of them. And the only things that define him as a character is he wants to kill Jake and he's macho. There's no personality to anyone. The character Spider is supposed to be this feral human boy being raised by Na'vi for his entire life. His, like, I don't know, close to 20 years of growing up. So he's become accustomed to the way of the Na'vi as opposed to the human way. But nothing about him comes across as like feral or sort of alien at all. He just looks like a wealthy, clean, pretty actor who is now a whole lot more wealthy after this film, I'll tell you that. Following this first half hour of the film, I then started to notice the dialogue is really bad. Not bad as in offensive or like nonsensical, it's just really lame and sanitized, and the film just feels steadfastly determined to not have anything, any lines of dialogue or any characters that could be challenging in any way, mean-spirited or offensive or intense. Everything just has to be really nice and harmless and without any wit or edge or anything daring at all. And I thought Disney had a bad reputation for putting out movies that are overly sanitized like this, especially lately. But they've got nothing on this pandoring shit, if you will. So I've mentioned this film is clean and sanitized and inoffensive in terms of dialogue and characters, and the same goes for the visuals. The film is literally waterboarding you, get it? With excessive beauty and prettiness in every frame. It's engineered in a way that any qualms one might have with the film being just kind of a bit uninteresting or a bit shallow, another water pun, it makes up for it by being so pretty. Look at the rich blues and greens and the prettiness and the waviness of the water and the colours and the floating wavy creature designs and them swimming and them flying through the lovely Pandora. If you're not invested in the story and are finding the film as a whole bloated and indulgent and long and all the characters boring, it doesn't matter because look how pretty it is. It is predictable, and I never find movies predictable. I'm a simple guy, believe me, and I don't watch movies in that way where I'm trying to like think ahead and predict all the story mechanics and what will happen next. But this movie is so trite and cliche with how Jake's kids meet the Metkayina kids, and there's things like bullying and allegories for racism and crushes, and they'll all learn a valuable lesson. And it's just so banal and predictable with how it's gonna pan out. I do want to mention the one thing in this film that I did really like and thought was actually really, really cool. And it's when the character Quaritch is looking back on like a video log of himself as a human. And the video log he's looking at is a bit like me here. I'm talking to the camera, so you're seeing Quaritch looking at this floating screen, like digital screen, with him as a younger human in the screen, and there's all screen action going on behind him and things happening behind him that's in 3D, multi-layers of 3D on that screen and in the real world of Quaritch watching it. And it's hard to explain in verbal form, but if you see it, it is really impressive, and it's like, wow, how did they do this? This is pretty incredible. But overall, I just can't believe that so much time and money has gone into something that's so insignificant and insubstantial and pointless. It doesn't challenge the viewer in any way whatsoever, and watching it just feels like you're an infant and someone is just dangling a Christmas bauble in front of your eyes going, "Look at this, it's so pretty, jingle jangle, there it goes, I'm James Cameron, I got your money, and what did you get in exchange? Absolutely nothing, except wasting over 3 hours looking at this pretty Christmas bauble, jingle jangle." To me, that is not cinema and not art, and I have no tolerance these days for big, loud, expensive, long, soulless, bloated movies that have nothing to offer, no new ideas, no new perspectives, no emotions, and that you just forget about instantly. I would be surprised if this makes over $2 billion at the box office, because I cannot imagine that many people going to see this twice. I can imagine most people who would go to see it going, meh, yeah, it was okay, bit long, but it looked pretty enough, some of the action was good. But if you're over the age of like 16 or 17 and you come out of it going like, holy shit, this is the most life-changing experience, this is unlike anything I've ever seen, it's like the greatest piece of filmmaking art ever, I can just only imagine you must be just a shallow person, because this movie is boring as fuck. I even have some better alternate titles for this movie. They are as follows: Avatar, The Way of Toilet Water, Avatar, The Waste of Time, Avatar, The Waste of Money, Avatar, The Waste of Water, and Avatard, because the movie's retarded.
I hate you! I hate you, Top Infinity, so much! Penis face! Hey!
Just go and see The Batman again. That's another big, long 3-hour action epic that was actually really good and had a good tone and good story and characters, and that was just great. That came out this year. The Banshees of Inisherin came out this year too. You can check out the review of that on my channel, and that's one of the best movies you can see. Just anything but Avatar, The Way of Water. You don't need it. It doesn't need your money. It's done. Avatar's done. Look at this. Oh no! I fucking broke. Oh, thing broke. Oh, bullshit. Oh, that's fucked.